So that we don't have another
I will do that
dam.
immediately. We will organize ourselves and do that immediately, and then we go and see the progress. Honorable Speaker, the question by Junette is a very general question and possibly an accusation or a generalized condemnation of all the irrigation projects in Kenya, which I think it is an unfortunate position, and I believe the honorable member must have been a big supporter of some of these projects, considering...
Mr. Speaker, I don't know, I think you are consulting with a member. The Cabinet Secretary is saying my question is unfortunate. And my question is very simple, Mr. Speaker. I was asking the Cabinet Secretary, now that the irrigation schemes did not work, the previous ones, what is he going to do differently? That's a very fair question, Mr. Speaker, very fair. Because he's a new person, so what is he going to do differently so that we can have one bag of maize from one irrigation scheme in Kenya?
No question that is fortunate or unfortunate.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes. It is because in his particular constituency, we have 19,000 acres of
irrigated land.
3,500 acres implemented under rice, the crop of rice. So we are growing rice in
yes, order. Yes, Junette, what is out of order?
Mr. Speaker, I will wish to inform the Cabinet Secretary that there is no irrigation scheme in my constituency. We only do sugarcane farming, and that's not done through irrigation, Mr. Speaker. Maybe she's confusing with maybe Bungoma South or North, somewhere else, okay. Mr. Speaker.
I thought, the Honourable Member, I was not talking about the small constituency, the actual constituency. Nyatik is part of your area of jurisdiction, and therefore you have 3,500 acres of rice crop growing. So, and I don't want to talk about Bura, which is continuing, and we have plans to expand. I think your question was, what plans do I have to make them work better? And therefore we have plans to expand, raise funding for expanding the existing by increased acreage, and of course better production will be expected. We have rice in Mwea, we have smallholder farmers under irrigation, and therefore I think I would plead that we get your support to increase more acreage under irrigation, and of course come up with issues like inputs, implements, fertilizers, money for fertilizers to improve and increase production. The ministry hopes by the 5-year term that we have, we are able to reach 1,800 acres of irrigated land. There are several other questions that were raised. Honorable Mayaka, issue of Gusii County.
She just, when are you giving, she says, where are you separating them from Kisii as Nyamira?
I don't know whether you, Honorable Member, you are referring to an agency, under the agency, the Water Development Works Agency, which are under my ministry, or you are seeking a separate company, you know, the Muascos and Muswascos, for example, in Muranga, or Ruasco, or, you know, if it is a water service provider company, that is determined by the governors when they need, because they are the ones doing water provision. In terms of a new development waterworks agency, we will not be able to come up with a new one, but we can improve our reach in case that particular area is not filling the work of the agency covering. And you are under Lake Victoria South Water Works Development Agency. That we can have a conversation on. But the water company liaise kindly with the governor for any more water companies, But the policy of the government and the recommendation is that we should merge the water companies for better service provision, because most of them are actually running at a deficit. We have about 100 billion Kenya shillings incurred and unpaid to the national government and our partners through the water service providers. So we're not recommending increase, further creation of water service provider. We want to improve the governance system for better service delivery. I hope I have covered the question of whether we can raise an extra, the 80 million we are talking about, Honorable Member. We will have 50 million for this year. I think that's very good. But because the balance is a small amount, that is something we can have, we can include, possibly if Parliament allows, because you are the ones who do appropriation, budgeting and appropriation, have it included in one of the supplementaries as we move along. But it is possible and it is doable.
You have missed one from Lamu, that when are you going to have a scheme, yes, an irrigation program in Lamu?
The Honorable Member Rueda, I believe we do have irrigation schemes in Lamu. If we don't have, challenge me and I will come to Lamu. We have a conversation. We have water projects for water supply and sanitation, and we do have irrigation schemes in Lamu. It is also under focus when we come up with the Mzima Springs and Mwache dams. Those two particular dams will sort out most of the water challenges in the coast region, in all our coast counties. And those projects have advanced very well because Mwache has been launched and it has funding from AFT and World Bank. We are now looking for the balance of the money for the two remaining pipelines for Mwache from European Investment Bank. Mzima Springs will provide water through PPP. We have encouraged partners, private
Alice,
partners.
Are you sure you are going to supply water to Lamu from Mzima Springs?
We will release some of the water. We will release once we get. They are sharing water.
Yes, Rweda.
Bwana Waziri, itabidi ukaangalie mapu vizuri.
I know where Lamu is.
Let her finish.
Lamu Mashariki mwanzo hakuna irrigation yoyote, na hakika na hilo. Ya pili, Mzizima haitaweza kupita, na hata kama mtabidi mlipitishe kwa lazima, itakuwa ni gharama kubwa zaidi kuliko kuchukua maji hapo Tana River kupeleka Lamu. Kuna kupitisha ndani ya bahari. Hiyo ya Mzizima haiwezi kutusaidia kabisa, haiwezekani. Yetu ni mpange mipango ya kutoka Tana River. Unaweza ambia hata KDF wakakachimba canal wakatuletea maji, na hiyo itakuwa ndo suluhisho la kudumu. Tumekuwa kutoka uhuru patikani hatuna maji watu wa Lamu Mashariki, na Bwana Spika, sisi tunasaulika.
Roida, si nimekusaidia kulifufua? Yes, Alice, you're done? Let's go to the next question. Member Forongo.
I can wait for the question.
Just note, Alice, that is not practically reasonable to talk of taking Mzima Springs water to Lamu. Rongo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question number 247 of 2023.
I'll give you the next question. There's Abor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question number 247 2023 to the Cabinet Secretary for Water, Sanitation and Irrigation. Number one, could the Cabinet Secretary explain reasons behind stalling of the Rongo Town water supply works, despite the project being fully funded by the government in the 2021-2022 budget with an allocation of Kenya shillings 190 million. Question number two, could the Cabinet Secretary provide details on how the project funds released by the Exchequer were utilized by the Lake Victoria Waterworks Development Authority? Question number 3, could the Cabinet Secretary state the action the Ministry intends to take against the water agency officials if it is confirmed that the funds were misappropriated? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Alice, we must be done with this in 10 minutes. The question is very simple. Yes. Money was allocated. The member is alleging that the project was not done properly, and if the money was misappropriated, what is your action?
I think, Honorable Speaker, for Rwanda, we have Garzen Ramu Water Project. That is the one. I was saying that coast region generally, but Garzen will give water to Lamu. And of course, we are also looking at new technology
we are done with that,
in terms of desalination. Finally, the last question, Mr. Speaker, money misappropriated. The money was not misappropriated. About 170 million Kenya shillings was released. The project is at about 25% completion. The money was used to pay. I don't think it's a very good practice, but there were pending bills, Mr. Speaker, and we have documentation that the money was utilized that way. However, Mr. Speaker, we have pending, because there were also issues of slow intake by the contractor, but now he's moving better. We have provided for that money, and the project will be done as scheduled. In fact, we expect that this project will be completed by December. It is scheduled to be completed by December. We are putting in a higher gear than it was. Thank you. And money is available, Mr. Speaker.
Abor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me first of all thank the CS for confirming that the project was actually fully funded to the tune of 170 million. The only thing, I've seen a written response from the CS. The only thing I don't agree, Mr. Speaker, is why a project that is fully funded by the Exchequer and money has gone to the agency, why that money should be used to pay pending bills. The CS is a distinguished advocate, and she's been a member of this House. She knows that whatever has been budgeted by this House should be used specifically for the intended purpose. And my supplementary question, Mr. Speaker, is if the CS could now confirm to this House, now that she has said that the money has been released back to the project, can she confirm to this House that those funds are not going to be misapplied again? And I'd also like her to confirm that in future she will reprimand government officials who are misapplying funds from specific projects. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, in relation to Rongo, where I am the neighbor, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to ask the Cabinet Secretary that Rongo constituency and the whole of Migori County does not have any sewer, Mr. Speaker, since independence. Mr. Speaker, the last census, that's a county that has a population of over 1 million people. And even in the former municipality area near where the town is, there is over 300,000 inhabitants. Mr. Speaker, can you imagine people of that magnitude using pit latrines since independence, the kind of disease that can occur in that place, diarrhea and many things? People are using pit latrine and septic tank. Does the Minister, the Cabinet Secretary have any plan at all whatsoever in the near future of giving Migori people a sewer line?
Member for Manyata.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I first want to say that I also had submitted a number of questions to the Minister, around 6 of them, which, Honorable Speaker, they have not appeared in the list of questions to be answered. And I want to get a clear answer from the table office and the people involved on why the questions are not in the paper, because those were questions that were sent to me by my constituents in Manyata. But Honorable Speaker, now that we are talking about stack irrigation projects, Honorable Speaker, I have two projects. One of them called Kidemo Irrigation Water Project that has been stuck, and farmers have put in their monies to get wayleave from 2019, Honorable Speaker. Also, Honorable Speaker, we have...
One question at a time, member.
It's just an additional irrigation scheme called Modatari, Honorable Speaker, that also farmers have put money, and they were supposed to be partially funded by government. But, Honorable Speaker, those two irrigation projects are stuck, and farmers are asking what the ministry is doing about that.
Minister, not that. Member for Chepalungu.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to ask the minister, aware that an ongoing project, water project is ongoing within my constituency, named Bomet, Longisa, Mulot. This particular project is going to serve water to Sigor. Along the way to Sigor from Kyogong, there is a very dark area called Olesoi Nyambugo. My question is, what plans do you have to erect a tank within Olesoi or Nyambugo so that it can serve the people around there with water? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Beatrice Elachi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also just want to ask the CS if it is possible the sewer lines that were done and left hanging within Nairobi and especially in Dagoretti North, Kawangware, Gatina area, if they are able to now finalize those sewer lines and to ensure also the manholes are identified, since many of them have been taken and grabbed.
Haika.
Thank you, Speaker. I also want, now that Mzima Spring has been mentioned, I wanted to ask the Minister, Mr. Speaker, what is the progress of Mzima 2? And again, I also want to ask the Minister that there's an old pipeline that is being repaired, and it is said that the pipeline is going to replace Mzima 2. How true is that, Waziri? Thank you, Speaker.
Zamzam.
Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi ningependa kumuuliza waziri atuelezee mradi wa Galana Kulalu imefikia wapi, kwa sababu tumeona wale ambao walitoa msaada kufundwa wanalalamika kuwa wamekuwa wakiwekeza pesa zikipotea na kule watu wengi wanahangaika chakula. Kwa hivyo ningependa kuuliza mradi huu mpaka sasa umefikia wapi, Mheshimiwa Waziri? Asante.
Farah Maalim. Alice, those are very short questions. I want you to take the shortest time possible.
Mr. Speaker, I also wish to add my voice. There was a master plan for, water master plan for Northeastern Province way back, or the North in general. And the underlying principle was to see how the surface runoff water can be harvested, because that is an area of this country where the rains are always short and we always have one drought cycle after the other. And the idea was so that when this water is being harvested, not only will it eliminate the possibility of the topsoil being eroded and the place becoming barren and desertification also increasing, but also it was going to enable a certain mixed agriculture, which means the people who are going to be exposed to some form of irrigation or some form of agriculture, crop agriculture. Can the minister put some bit of light, even if she doesn't have all the information on this, and tell us when maybe I could even personally see her and we see how that itself is formulated within the ministry and what are the plans to put it into effect in the future? Thank you.
Minister, can answer those. I want you to do that in less than 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I start with the Garana Kuraru? Garana Kuraru project was funded And we did the first phase of 10,000 acres. And the trial stage for the maize growing occurred. And of course, there were many challenges, including compression challenges by the specific contractor. However, we have taken up Garana Kuraru, and we have about three very interested private partners or investors, Mr. Speaker, because we will now not go back to GOK funding, because we have said again and again, and you know, honorable members, that there is no funding for that, but we have three very keen, interested partners. One is already on site, and we have already entered into some arrangement. We have signed an MOU for the trial stage, and maize is growing there for trial stage. They are taking 10,000 acres. We do have plans for a dam. We also have received proposals for project development for a dam to irrigate the balance of the land in Garana Kuraru, and therefore, honorable member, more details I can avail, but we have not abandoned Garana Kuraru irrigation scheme, because it's basically an irrigation land area. Over 350,000 acres are available for irrigation once we deal with the question of water, and that will be addressed by the development of a big dam that we already have. We are in the design space. Master plan by honorable member Farah Marum. Honorable member, your question is very huge. I think I may not be able to answer it now, but we are doing a lot of work in the northern counties, Marsabit, Madera, Garissa, Wajir, and Turkana. Those 5 counties are under special or specific planning for both mapping, groundwater mapping, surface water, and I think because you are also now referring to water for irrigation, it may be important that you visit my office so that I can understand specifically what you need me to address or the ministry to address. But we have secured funding for groundwater mapping for the aquifers, to find out where the aquifers are, into the tune of 20 billion under the Horn of Africa program, Honorable Speaker. Then Migori town, one of the challenges for Migori is actually availability of land for projects. We have plans, but we have challenges in terms of implementing, even before we can talk about compensation, people allowing and giving their land. So we do have plans for Migori town, water and sanitation. And if you like, you are welcome to the office. I will avail the technical people to give you more information on where we are. Honorable Aika, Mheshimiwa Aika, Women Member of Parliament for Taita Taveta, I want to confirm that Mzima 2 is an independent project on its own. It has no connection with the current pipeline. The good thing for us is that we shall use the existing wayleaf for purposes of the Mzima 2, and therefore we have no charges of land claims or RAPs. And once we agree with the private investor interested, then we shall be able to commence the project. It's a high priority project. And therefore, the pipeline for the petroleum, the old pipeline, is not our pipeline. So we are working on the Mzima 2. Cheparungu, I think you're asking when we shall do a tank. I do not have that answer now. We can give you that answer later, but construction of a tank is something the national water harvesting can be able to factor in depending on the volume that we need, and therefore within the year we can possibly accommodate that, even if it is planning and budgeting, and then wait to secure funding. Kithimu and Mudatari were irrigation projects. The honorable member wants to know why they are stuck. Where is that answer? May I say that maybe this is something that I need to get informed about by my teams, and because the projects, I think it is just poor work by the contractor, but I would rather give the honorable member more information, and I agree that I will forward. That is something we can avail to the honorable member, including what intervention I, as a minister, will take to ensure that those projects are completed. I believe any person have left out their question? Who? Which question? I think I have covered all the questions. Honorable Speaker, if you allow me, the sewer lines in Nairobi.
Yes. Just finish that, then we release you to go to another. She asked that there are some...
yes, some hanging, lying around of, I think, abandoned
sewer lines that have not been completed.
I would rather that I give the honorable member a more comprehensive answer, because that question has been floated now. But I know that we are working on some of the destroyed pipes that were destroyed during the construction of, for example, the expressway and other areas. So I could maybe cover all that during the response to the honorable member. She's my friend, and actually she can come into the office like every other member, and we can address that. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable members, I want to end here with this minister.
I thought I would just get
Honorable
a
Mulher, you... Yes? Alice, the member who is standing now, Honorable Mulher, says she had a question which doesn't appear on the order paper. I don't know if you have her...
Maybe it's from
Mandera? Yes.
Yes, this was like, I think the Honorable Speaker, you had said you will allow, is it a supplementary question? There was a question that came late.
As is a substantive question, is not supplementary. It came only yesterday.
Oh, it came to us yesterday. Honorable Member Umulker Kasim.
Yes.
I have some maybe response that could give her.
She has not even asked the question.
Okay.
Honorable Speaker, I can clarify.
Yes.
She already has the question.
She very well may have the question. What I'll direct is that because we have an order, Mulher, I'm not giving you the floor yet. So that we do justice to your question, and members who have questions that are burning, we have the Minister for Lands coming. I want to direct the clerk that immediately after the short recess, the first Wednesday, we'll invite the Minister for Water and give her 1 hour to deal with the questions that are burning among members. So please hold your horses so that we can have Alice here the first Wednesday after the short recess of 2 weeks. We'll give you an hour to come and answer questions. Omulheri's question, the member for Manyata, and all those who have questions like Makali Mulu. I'm not allowing you now. What is the... Yes?
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I want just to alert the Minister that also Kitui Town sewer line is also not operational.
Yes.
So she can also come with a report on what is happening.
Excellent. What is who is the honorable member there?
Member of Parliament, Makueni constituency.
Yes.
And my question is on Toka Dam. I wish to thank the CS for
visiting Toka Dam in our first days in office, and we had a very fruitful consultative meeting where she assured us that 2 major activities will be done for Toka Dam. One was the issue of cleaning, making sure that the water is clean in Toka. 2, having the design done, because by June 2024, Toka will be operational. In the last 2 months, Toka has been closed down. And I was just wondering, does the dream still exist? Thank you.
Alice, just note that you'll answer when you come back after recess. Joseph? Give Joseph the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I just wanted to add another question to the CS. The Kapsabet town sewer system, there is a raw sewer running along the road. And I've done investigations and realized that the septic tank that was erected some years back is smaller and it can no longer handle the entire sewer system. So I would like for the CS to do her investigations so that next time when she comes here, she'll also be able to answer the same question. Thank you.
For next time. Yes, member for Mwatate, is it? Ganze. Yes. Give him the mic. Alice, you just note that for next time. Give him the mic. Yeah, there you are.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Okay, this is a follow-up to the question that has been asked by the women rep for Taita Taveta, Lydia Haika. It's on the Mzima 2 project. And I'm glad that the CS has confirmed that this is a priority project for the government. So my question will be, because there has been grapevine that this project is not going to serve Mombasa alone, but it's also going to serve Ganze. And I'm glad the CS made a visit to Ganze in April, and she knows the water situation that we have in that constituency. So my question is, because there's a rumor that this project is going to pass through, the pipeline is going to pass through Ganze. So I want a confirmation from the CS whether this is true or it's just grapevine. Thank you.
Okay, Alice, you've heard that rumor. You come with it next time. Member for Nakuru Town East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I have only 2 issues. There was a water pan that was done in Mzee Wanyama in a ward called Nakuru East Ward. It was never completed, and we have never known the status of that water pan. And secondly, 5 boreholes, which were given to Nakuru Town East constituency in the second supplementary budget in 2021-2022, I don't know what happened. And we had been given the 5 boreholes, and money was allocated, and we don't know what happened to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Alice, you are noting that? Yes. Oyula, you'll be the very last.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to ask the CS about irrigation project that was started in Butula several years back but abandoned because of technicalities. Can the CS look through the ministry's records and let us know when the ministry will resume on the irrigation project that was started in Butula?
Thank you.
Secondly, just
only one, Oyula. Yes, you will be the very last. Member, that's member for Kinango.
Yes.
Yes, Gonzirai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a quick one. There is a tension actually in Makamini Dam because of the fact that there was actually a disclosure that the Land Commission was supposed to send some valuers by 30th of June. Today, we are on the 5th of July, and the situation actually on the ground is very tense. Can we just get an indication as to when valuers will be on ground? Because we have already lost one person because of the tension on ground. Can you just assist us with just an indication when the valuers are actually on ground to do the evaluation of the people who are displaced?
Honorable Minister Alice Nganga, you've noted all those quick questions. I'm not allowing anybody else, even you. I'm not allowing anybody else. We are now going to release the minister on the rider that she has picked your questions. Those who have more questions, she will be here in the next 3 weeks. Mulyungi, hold your horses. I'll give you the first bite when she comes here. Within the next, including yourself, yes, I'll give you. When, including Ferdinand Wanyonyi, all of you. So let's close here for Alice. Alice, you can see that water, order, Honorable Ferdinand, water is life. You hold a very important ministry. You can see the enthusiasm of the members. Everybody has an issue about water in their constituencies or in their areas. So next, as soon as we resume after 2 weeks, I will allow you the first appearance. Get ready the questions you have picked, and there will be other questions, including the lady from Garissa and the honorable member from Manyata, and all those who have asked questions, and any other that will arise in between.
Safe to correct that I'm Alice Wahome. You have called me Alice Nganga.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Alice Nganga is the member of parliament for Thika Town.
Yes.
You are Alice Wahome, my distinguished learned friend who was 1 year behind me at the university. So I know you pretty well.
Yes, thank you.
You are hereby released
Thank you.
to give way to the Minister for Lands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable members.
Yes, Order Alice, the chair of the committee that oversees you is agitating.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't have a supplementary question or a question, but as a chair who is oversighting water, I just want to appreciate my cabinet secretary and the entire team from the ministry for the elaborate answers, especially to many of the questions which were asked by members. And secondly, the Honorable Speaker, just to tell my honorable colleagues that for the few months I have been oversighting the ministry has a serious challenges in terms of funding. And Mr. Speaker, in our constitution, the Bill of Rights, water is provided for under Article 43 of the Constitution. It is not, the roads is not there. Electricity is not there. As members of this House, Honorable Speaker, I want to beseech my colleagues that we increase the funding for water. Especially, Mr. Speaker, there is a proposal which the ministry and also I presented before this House that if there is need, we should have a funding for water, especially for every constituency, so that there is no, the questions we are seeing.
You've made your point. Thank you.
Help. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You've made your point.
Thank you.
You'll prosecute that before the budget committee. Alice, you are released.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll see you in 3 weeks' time. Thank you. Bring in the Minister for Lands.